People from the Moon Clan crowded around. I can't believe such a thing is happening. Go quickly, and find out which shop dares to deceive our clan members. A strongman roared ferociously. This person from the clan sold me a fake black swine goo yesterday, cheated me out of 250 essence stones, and told me to go back and refine it. I found that it was just a common smelly fatworm. Abel retorted. When did I ever say this was a black swine goo? Do you have any evidence that I did? Strongman became angry and immediately started to scold Abel. You deceitful merchant, dare to deny it. Dare to deceive your Lord Moon on Qingmong Peak. Are you seeking death? Abel was both anxious and angry. Let go of me. You extort money without distinguishing your targets. My brother is Richard, 4th Enhanced Goo Master. What can you do to me? With a disdainful spit, he said, It's you who wants to take advantage of me. You don't even use your brain to think. Black swine goo can fundamentally enhance the power of a goo master, even more valuable than the wine worm. The market price is selling for 600 essence stones. You think you can buy it with just a little money? You must be dreaming. The member of the Moon Clan grinds their teeth in anger. This kid is really despicable. He's indeed a good businessman. Although he only has first enhanced cultivation, his brother is Richard. We can't afford to provoke him. Someone snorted coldly. But they are half-brothers. He is taking advantage of this relationship to act recklessly. At this moment, a cold and stern voice sounded. What happened? When everyone saw that Richard had arrived, they all made way for him. The strong man also calmed down his anger. He gestured towards him and said, Richard, you are courteous. Richard nodded. Hello. Is there anything the young Goo Master needs? The strong man immediately recounted the ins and outs of the matter, although there was no exaggeration in it. But Abel still listened with clenched teeth. At the same time, he felt a wave of panic in his heart. Richard asked, Is it true that there's something going on with young brother? Abel, don't turn around. He snorted unhappily. Richard immediately knew that what the strong man said was true. He then apologized to him. It was completely my younger brother's fault. I'm truly sorry that you suffered a loss because of him. Although the strong man was in the right, he didn't dare to accept the bow from the 4th Enhanced Goo Master. He quickly said there was no need for that. Richard smiled. This has nothing to do with cultivation. I have always been fair when it comes to matters. Right is right, wrong is wrong. On behalf of the caravan, I apologize to you and will compensate you for double the losses. But my young friend, I also want to advise you. Don't be greedy for cheap deals anymore. The black swine goo, even if it is only a first enhancement, is rare and hard to find at a high price. It's not very realistic to think you can buy it with just 200 essence stones. The Moon Clan member saw his fair and just handling of affairs and immediately cheered. Richard smiled and greeted everyone with clasped hands, saying, Our family has always conducted business with integrity as the foundation. My younger brother here is just mischievous in his youth and enjoys teasing others. He means no harm. If he has offended anyone, please forgive him. Abel watched them happily, feeling like an outsider. His displeasure filled his heart completely. He snorted coldly, turned around, and walked away. Levi watched his back thoughtfully. He had discovered a good pawn indeed. It looks like I can make a move on the shadow wall left by the pleasure-seeking wanderer. Abel is in a melancholy mood. He went straight to the tavern to get drunk. He kept drinking one glass after another. The more he drank, the more cheerful he felt. But as soon as he thought of his brother Richard's imposing manner just now, the cheerfulness in his heart vanished. That bastard Richard had orchestrated the whole thing from start to finish. He must have plotted against me to gain a larger share of our father's inheritance. Among the siblings in the family, I am the youngest and the one with the worst aptitude, only a grade 4. Moreover, I am the one who resembles our father the most, and therefore, I am the one who receives our father's favoritism. Thus, I have been excluded by my brother since I was young. As our father's deadline approaches, he wants to divide the family estate. He instructed each pair of siblings to lead a caravan, and in the end, the estate will be divided based on their respective achievements. I had already planned to obtain recognition from the family in my own way to secure the inheritance. However, now I am being tightly suppressed by Richard. The huge gap between the first enhance and the fourth enhance makes me feel powerless to compete. At this moment, a voice quietly entered his mind. "Do you want to deal with your brother? I can help you." He turned abruptly and saw Levi standing behind him, sizing him up. "Good lad. I remember you. What are you doing here now? To mock me?" Levi said lightly. "I have a big business deal. If you want to achieve good results and earn more family assets, you might as well listen and see." Abel immediately became alert. He asked in a cold voice, "How do you know about my family assets?" Levi still had that arrogant look on his face. He said, "Your family's affairs are not some big secret. How could you hide them from people who are truly interested?" Abel furrowed his brow slightly. "Indeed," he said, "there are no walls that don't let the wind through. But could this be another one of Richard's traps?" Abel pondered for a moment, and then gritting his teeth, he said, "Let's talk somewhere else." Levi vetoed the suggestion of changing locations. "No need. It's noisy here. We can avoid being overheard by some goo worms. Just come closer and whisper." He then whispered a few words to Abel beside him. Abel's frown deepened. "This business involves the 3 major villages of Qingmong Peak. As merchants, we avoid getting involved in local power struggles. I suspect you were sent by Richard to set me up." Levi sneered a few times. "In that case, I will talk to your brother." Abel hurriedly followed him out. "Don't go. We can talk again." Levi didn't really intend to leave either. He turned around slowly and said, "I know you have doubts, but you are being pressured hard by Richard now. There is no chance of winning. If you believe in me, there is still a glimmer of hope. It depends on whether you dare to take this gamble." Abel fell into deep thought, weighing the pros and cons frantically in his mind. After all, the outcome of this matter could lead to unimaginable wealth and prosperity. He gritted his teeth and said, "Richard is just a bit older. I have never acknowledged him as my brother, but what you said makes sense. I will take this gamble." Levi reached out his hand slowly. "The 2,000 essence stones are non-negotiable." Abel suddenly felt a toothache. This price is too high, and this deal carries risks. Levi said lightly, "The higher the risk, the higher the return. If you manage to sell to those 2 villages, you earn even more." Abel nodded. "I believe that. The White Village's influence has been expanding rapidly in recent years. They have produced another Grade 1 genius ruby. Your dominance in Moon Mountain Village will soon be challenged. If I sell to the White family, I can at least double my profit." Levi nodded in satisfaction. At the same time, he thought to himself, "I was right. Abel is not entirely useless, and is from a decent family background. It seems we can utilize him in the future." Abel gritted his teeth and stomped his foot. "Fine. I'll jump into this pit regardless. 2,000 essence stones for the deal. But I need to inspect the goods first." Levi turned around and gestured for him to follow. They quickly arrived at the location of the pleasure-seeking wanderer's treasure. When they entered the dark cave, Abel asked, puzzled, "I have a question. Richard has always been honest, while I have deceived and coerced in my dealings. Why did you choose me for this transaction instead of him?" Levi replied without looking back, "Because his cultivation is too high to control. I don't like handing over control to others. Besides, I never believe in integrity. So-called reputation is all nonsense. It's just that the benefits are too small to move the heart." Abel totally agrees. "Your last sentence really resonates with me." Levi sneered inwardly. "The main reason being your special status and weak cultivation, making it more convenient for me to manipulate and control." In less than a quarter of an hour, the two finally reached their destination. Abel looked at the picture on the wall and laughed out loud, because everything in front of him confirmed what Levi said to be true. What Levi said was true. That means his future is promising. His laughter echoed in the cave. I bet you didn't lie to me. It looks like I really have a chance to catch up with Richard. But looking at your 4th-generation ancestor, they don't seem that great either. Levi is quite plain. That's okay. The Moon Clan needs a hero. So the 4th generation became the hero. The White Village needs a despicable person. The 4th generation will become a despicable person. So-called hero or villain. It's just other people's opinions. Abel nodded, and then looked at the body of the pleasure-seeking wanderer on the ground. That was a brilliant statement. But unfortunately, my friend, you must have gained a lot from him. Levi looked at him somewhat displeased. It's been so long. Many Gu have died. I only got a wineworm. Abel obviously didn't believe it. Don't lie to me. As long as we get this deal done, we're accomplices. I won't betray you for sure. Tell me the truth. How much benefit did you actually get? Levi turned his head away, looking like he didn't want to talk to you. Abel, on the other hand, kept close on Levi's heels. Leaving aside other matters, I know that pleasure-seeking wanderer has a 5th enhanced mount called the 1,000-mile wolf spider. It is large in size, and excels in burrowing underground to escape. This wolf spider allows pleasure-seeking wanderer to repeatedly evade the encirclement of the right path individuals. Levi frowned. Is that so? Abel nodded firmly. I heard about this legend when I visited your village last year. It piqued my interest, so I went home to investigate. It is inseparable from the pleasure-seeking wanderer. In my opinion, this cave was most likely carved out by the wolf spider. Otherwise, how could such a dense and intricately formed empty cave exist in the thick and sticky azure soil of Qingmeng Peak naturally? Stop hiding the truth. The pleasure-seeking wanderer died here. There must be his 1,000-mile wolf spider here. Levi pondered for a moment. What you said makes sense. However, in the image of Shadow Wall, the pleasure-seeking wanderer never summoned it. It is also possible that he was trapped and killed by the 4th generation in advance. Abel also frowned. This makes the situation even more mysterious. Just then, the Shadow Wall suddenly turned black. The two were shocked. What happened? Why did it turn black? At this moment, the corpse of the pleasure-seeking wanderer actually started to slowly grow flesh and blood at a visible speed. The originally shrunken body suddenly grew into a new body in an instant. Soon, a cold and sullen voice came. Later human. I am pleasure-seeking wanderer. Whoever you are. Now you are my successor. The two widened their eyes at the 5th enhanced powerhouse pleasure-seeking wanderer's legacy. Oh my! This small Qingmeng Peak actually has the legacy of a 5th enhanced Gu master. With the 3rd enhancement, one can become the leader of a stronghold. So what about with the 5th enhancement? The pleasure-seeking wanderer sneered. Being able to continuously replay nearly 100 days for my Shadow Wall is enough to prove that you have no good feelings towards the Moon Clan. Very well. I will leave all my inheritance to you, but I have one condition. You must help me annihilate the Moon Clan and destroy the village without leaving anyone alive. Abel swallowed his saliva. By the way, if I inherit the power of pleasure-seeking wanderer, who is a Gu master in demonic cultivation, do I really have to do this? Power has nothing to do with good or evil. Anyway, he's already dead. I just need to ignore these things. This is a huge fortune. Although I am only grade 4, with a legacy, I can compete with Richard and so on. Wait a minute. I almost forgot about one more person. What should I do? Do I have to share with him? He suddenly turned red. No, I can't. Then I will kill him. As long as I kill him, the legacy will all be mine. This is my fortune and cannot be shared with others. That's right. I will first try to calm him down, then deceive him by pretending to split evenly. Finally, when he least expects it, launch a surprise attack. This place is really good. Even if I kill him, no one will know. That's the plan. As his thoughts reached this point, Abel put away his fierce expression just now. That Levi guy. But he hadn't finished his sentence. A moon blade had already arrived in front of him. With a sound of "Puci," that moon blade directly penetrated into his head. Abel couldn't believe it even before he died. Levi actually dared to move so ruthlessly against his subordinates. In the end, darkness filled his vision. He weakly collapsed to the ground. Levi coldly snorted in disdain. If you're going to kill, then just kill. No need to beat around the bush. He then shifted his gaze towards the pleasure-seeking wanderer and said, I didn't expect such a twist. Quite interesting. In the blink of an eye, 3 days have passed. Today is also the day the caravan departs. It's just that this gloomy weather is really depressing. But it seems as if the heavens are warning people about something. Colt stood on the attic and gazed into the distance, muttering to himself, The future is uncertain. The world is tough. I wonder how many familiar faces will still be in village next year. Whether it's being a traveling merchant or living in the village, making a living is never easy. And at another mountain peak, Levi was also watching the departure of the caravan from afar. He would occasionally sigh and say, What a beautiful sight, truly a gift from the heavens. The heavy rain washed the sky and earth, cleansing the air. It significantly weakened the scent-based detection methods. Moreover, there was a small waterfall by the crevice. This way, Abel's whereabouts won't be exposed in the short term. Although Abel is weak, his status is special. The caravan is currently too busy to notice his disappearance. However, before long, Richard will definitely return to investigate. That will be the real challenge. The reason their head of the family arranged for Abel and Richard to lead the caravan together is to strike a blow to Abel and make him see the reality. In the future, they can live a stable life. At the same time, he is also testing Richard's character. If the blow is too harsh and unacceptable even to his own brother, how can he dare to pass on the position of the head of the family to him? Abel has never understood his father's good intentions. Although he is somewhat talented, he has only cultivated a superficial facade. It's a pity for a good pawn. If I can control him in the future, he will still be very useful. Firstly, I can establish a stable channel for selling stolen goods through him. This will prepare for future ventures in treasure hunting or committing crimes. Secondly, I can retire and stay behind the scenes. I can use him and Shadow Wall to incite conflicts among the 3 major villages of Qingmong Peak. Then I can reap the benefits while others suffer in the chaos. Thirdly, I can rely on him to infiltrate his family's internal affairs. In the future, they will hold a fighting competition due to disputes over family property. If I can participate, I am sure to gain a lot of benefits. But at that time, I had no choice in that situation. I can only blame your terrible luck. Although I successfully covered up the evidence, there were still many consequences. It seems I can't go to the cave with hidden crevices for now, to prevent investigations in the near future. But it's okay. I can use this time to break through intermediate level. Inheriting the pleasure-seeking legacy will give me more confidence. After all, the demonic cultivation legacy is not as gentle as the right path. A small mistake could lead to death. The world is unpredictable. But that's what makes it interesting, Abel. Actually, I don't want to kill you. For days later, it will be the martial arts competition at the arena. Today is the day for students to compete in martial arts. Levi easily kicked his younger brother off the stage. In this way, Levi has won 33 matches in a row. Moon Liam was knocked out of the field. The frustration in his chest just couldn't be vented. In the end, he directly spurted out a mouthful of blood. Levi looked at him coldly and said, You should first heal your internal injuries. The surrounding students were all shocked by the words. Liam being hit until he spat blood was too terrifying. Even his own younger brother was so ruthless. I don't want to fight with him. After martial art master examined Liam, he said, This minor injury is nothing serious. Rest and recuperate for a few days after treatment, and you'll be fine. Just refrain from practicing martial arts for these days, and avoid engaging in vigorous activities. Liam clenched his teeth. He still wanted to give it a try. However, his body did not allow him to do so. At this moment, the martial art master shouted, "Next!" With the martial art master shout, the students below all lowered their proud heads one by one, each not daring to speak. But this puts the martial art master in a difficult position. Elder said, "These days, Levi has been too high profile. It must be suppressed. Otherwise, all the students will be suppressed and unable to lift their heads. Over time, they will become timid lambs in battle." Thinking of this, he angrily shouted, "What's this? Are you scared already? He is not invincible. Show your courage. Let me see the pride of Moon Clan in your hearts." A student murmured quietly, "But he is really too strong. We simply can't defeat him. Look, even Liam, who is grade 1, is not his match." Martial art master, upon hearing this, felt furious. These ignorant children don't know that Levi's stamina is running low, which is why he couldn't hold back and ended up injuring Liam. If just a few more people step up, they can surely knock him down on the spot. Martial art master gritted his teeth. The one to defeat is often not a strong enemy, but one's own heart. He has already fought more than 30 rounds. If you just push a little harder, you will definitely succeed. But the students below are not buying it. You have said the same thing several times. I guess you don't even believe it yourself anymore. He said he couldn't move the students below, so he aimed his cannon at Levi. You are also wrong. Classmates should be more friendly when discussing with each other. If you make someone cough up blood again, I will declare you the loser. Unexpectedly, Levi coldly laughed and said, "You are wrong. In a sparring match, one must naturally go all out. Otherwise, how can it serve the purpose of training? Are they going to ask the enemy to be gentle and friendly during future battles?" Martial art master snorted coldly. "Nonsense. You've hurt your classmate with your vicious actions, and still think you're justified." Unexpectedly, Levi refuted him again. "You're wrong again. It was you who arranged this sparring match and raised the reward to 20 essence stones without your instigation. How could these people get injured?" Martial art master got angry. "Bastard, do you still want the first place reward? If you keep arguing with me, I will directly declare you lose." But he didn't expect that Levi turned around and left directly. "It's just a matter of winning or losing and 20 essence stones. Do you think I care?" The students below looked at each other. Levi really abstained. Even Master can't do anything about him. If I had known earlier, I would have joined the game later. Martial art master cursed inwardly. Then he vented his anger on the students below. "What are you all staring at? Anyone who hasn't been on the stage yet, continue to go up. Don't you want the reward of 20 essence stones?" Levi strolled towards the stage. If you look closer, you will notice that his hands have started trembling uncontrollably. This is clearly a sign of reaching the limit. Levi gasped heavily. His strength was running out. Experience is not everything after all. Even though he has rich combat experience from his past life, his body is only 15 years old. His continuous battles have pushed his physical limits. Presumably, this time Master's challenge was also instructed by the Academy Elder. However, this was within his expectations. The Academy Elder wants to break the shadow I bring to them. Once I lose, the unbeatable image that I have built will collapse. At the same time, this will also awaken their fighting passion, shaping their unyielding fighting spirit. They want to see my failure. But I need this kind of deterrent. Only in this way can my operation to extort essence stones be more convenient. So the true purpose of this battle is actually to continue maintaining my power. And this suppression is just the beginning. I need to keep an eye on Elder's movements in the future. The Elder from the Academy upstairs frowned as he watched Levi below. This kid is quite slippery. He is well versed in Academy regulations himself. He also doesn't make mistakes usually. Although he often sleeps in class, his responses are always comprehensive. It's really hard to catch him making mistakes or suppress his momentum. As an Academy Elder, I believe in teaching without discrimination. I have seen students much more outstanding than Levi. But never before has a student disgusted me so much. I clearly have always treated everyone equally. Why am I powerless when facing Levi now? Suddenly he thought of something. I see now. This kid Levi has a deep-seated arrogance. The reason I could tolerate those troublemaking students in the past is because they knew fear. And Levi doesn't have an ounce of fear. It seems fundamentally, he doesn't respect his elders. Someone who doesn't show respect towards the clan. Even if they grow up, how can they be of use to the clan? Once such a person appears, they must be suppressed, otherwise others will follow suit. Then the academy won't be able to control it. But I don't have any evidence against him. I can't just pick a fight like a troublemaker on purpose. It seems I have to wait for other students to level up to the first enhanced intermediate level in order to suppress Levi's momentum. But there's no need to worry too much. Levi is still young and can be trained slowly. He will have to compete for positions and rewards to gain resources. Over time, he will naturally have various constraints. This way, there is no need to worry about him breaking away from the clan's control. Carrot and stick. As long as he is brought into the clan, no one can easily leave. This is the power of the clan. And you, Moon Levi, are just a 15-year-old child. The night was thick as ink. Only the dry sound in the air could be heard. Moon Mason stood motionless in the courtyard. At that moment, Nova walked over and asked in confusion, "I heard you got injured today." Moon Mason chuckled awkwardly twice. "If you're worried about me having any psychological trauma, you're overthinking it." Nova indulgently patted his head. "That's not true. You are the future leader of our family. How could you be scared by such a small injury?" Moon Mason also enjoyed the warmth of the moment, but stubbornly said, "I know you care about me. But please don't pat my head like this in the future. I've grown up." Although I lost again this time, I heard Levi's hurried breathing during the battle. He is not as powerful as most people imagine. One day, I will defeat him fair and square. Nova nodded in satisfaction. "Indeed, you are my brother. But you are injured. Don't practice martial arts for the next few days." Moon Mason said seriously, "I understand. It's a good opportunity to recuperate these days and prepare to level up to intermediate level of empty aperture. I will take on the role of class leader to pressure him a bit. Let him know that cultivating aptitude is the most important thing." Nova said, "I'm relieved that you can think like this. I used to be just a vice class leader, so if you become the class leader, it would also make up for my regrets." Upon hearing this, he became even more determined in his own thoughts. "Don't worry. I will definitely secure the position of class leader." At Charles's house, a candle illuminated the entire secret room. Moon Charles kept channeling True Origin continuously into Moon Cameron's body. Time passed slowly, until half an hour later. Moon Charles took a deep breath and slowly dissipated his energy. Moon Cameron got up and bowed, saying, "Thank you, grandfather, for infusing True Origin into me every 3 days. I appreciate your hard work." Moon Charles sighed and said, "There's nothing we can do about it. With your grade 3 aptitude, leveling up on your own takes too long. It's easy to be exposed this way. Although this method is risky, I have no choice but to use it. However, while this method is effective, it has a major aftermath. My Silver True Origin is a different kind of True Origin for you, as it contains my aura. The more different auras there are, the less pure your empty aperture becomes. This will diminish your future development opportunities." Cameron obviously does not care about these things. "For the future of my family, I am willing to sacrifice my personal prospects." Moon and Charles nodded. "It's good that you have such thoughts. However, fate always leaves a way out. If you can find the pure water goo in the future, you will be able to refine your aperture wall and eliminate these sequelae. Also, I have already arranged to purchase the wine worm for you through connections. This goo can help the goo master refine True Origin without any sequelae. Its nurturing effect is also superior. But wine worms are hard to find. It is said that there are some goo worms that can change the aptitude of the goo master, but I have never seen them with my own eyes in most of my life. I hope you can have this fortune. At Uncle's home. Ever since being beaten up by Levi during the day, Moon and Liam have become increasingly diligent and impatient in their cultivation. But there is no other way, because he suppressed it for too long. He urgently wants to find a release outlet. That is his own brother. But the brother always seems to be like a huge mountain. No matter how hard he tries to climb, no matter how hysterical he is. But he just couldn't climb over it. Instead, he felt more and more pressed down, unable to lift his backbone. Liam exhaled slowly. The time for cultivation always passes by quickly. In the blink of an eye, it's already late at night. Although the essence stone is somewhat insufficient, I have grade 1 aptitude and a certain feeling. I will definitely level up to intermediate level in 3 to 4 days. Although I may not be as good as you in martial arts kung fu, you are no match for me in cultivation. My true origin capacity and recovery speed are twice as good as his. Even if he has more essence stones, he will never cultivate faster than me, brother. This time, I will show you the power of grade 1 aptitude. Levi's residence is over here. He is also cultivating desperately. Almost there. As long as I put in more effort, I can reach the intermediate level tonight. But if someone disturbs me, I am very likely to fail in my attempt. It's better to take advantage of the quiet night and make a breakthrough. Levi had a sudden idea. The calm bronze origin sea suddenly rippled with wave after wave of ripples. The ripples grew more and more numerous and larger, forming surging waves. The waves surged forward one after another, crashing into the aperture wall all around. It was as if they were hitting against rocks. Most of the true origin shattered into emerald green spray, flying high before merging back into the sea. A small part of the true origin was consumed, transforming into strange and invisible forces that permeated into the white light membrane of the aperture wall. The true origin was intensely consumed. The water surface kept lowering, and the continuous surging waves eventually triggered a qualitative change. Seeing this scene, Levi was overjoyed. He successfully broke through to the intermediate level. But suddenly, a bright light pierced into his eyes. Levi frowned slightly. He didn't expect time to pass so quickly. It was already the second morning. One frustrating thing after another followed. His door was kicked open with a bang. Levi, you skipped class for no reason. Academy Elder wants to see you. Come with us. Levi squinted his eyes for a few moments, trying hard to suppress his urge to kill. But one glance at these fools again, Levi muttered to himself. Can't bear it anymore. Over at the academy. The students who arrived early in the morning didn't see Levi, but he was whispering below. Levi didn't come to class today. He's really bold. Today is Elder's class, and Elder has already set academy guards to look for him. Looks like Levi is in trouble. Academy Elder didn't stop the discussions below, but chuckled in his heart. Levi, oh Levi, yesterday I was worried I couldn't find any handle on you. Yet today, you delivered yourself to me. He is indeed a 15-year-old young man. It seems I have overestimated you. Outside the gates of the academy, a heavy footstep sounded. Elder of the academy sneered continuously in his heart. He has arrived. I will make him stand outside the gate for 3 hours to dampen his spirit. The students below also noticed that the academy elder's expression was off. They joined in the excitement. The elder was very angry. There might be a good show to watch later. And Liam also murmured in his heart. Brother, you are challenging the authority of the elder. Whatever punishment you receive will be of your own making. Suddenly, the door of the academy was knocked on. The students all became spirited. One by one, they smirked derisively. Bolder individuals stood up directly to open the door, putting on a conspicuous manner, as expected of them. He opened the door of the academy with one swift motion. He sneered, Levi, you're in big trouble. But the next moment, his eyes widened. A moment of fear surged through his mind. His mouth quivered as he screamed loudly. It was even more careless. His feet gave out, and he knocked over a table and chairs directly. The surrounding students were curious about what was happening. One by one, they craned their necks to look outside the door. Then, they saw a bloody palm pressed against the door panel. As the door slowly opened, a figure holding a severed head stood outside. This extremely terrifying scene instantly entered the students' sight, deeply imprinting on their souls as well. This scene continues to impact their fragile nerves. Levi stood at the door like the god of death. Within 3 feet around him was filled with a strong smell of blood. It made people dare not approach and not want to approach. A female classmate accidentally made eye contact with Levi. They were all scared pale and screamed like ghosts. If it weren't for the preparation earlier, they might have wet themselves by now. Academy Elder was also stunned for a moment. Isn't the guard that Levi was holding one of the guards he had sent out himself? He instantly widened his eyes, a surge of inexplicable anger rising within him. He gnashed his teeth in hatred, so much so that he wanted to slap Levi dead right now. But his pride and status as an Academy Elder restrained him from acting out. In the end, he could only roar, "Levi, you must explain to me clearly what is going on. Otherwise, based solely on your indiscriminate killing of guards, I will execute you according to the clan rules." Levi snorted coldly in his heart. This old guy knows exactly what he's up to. He casually threw the guard's body down, treating it like garbage. Then he made a perfunctory bow and said, "Elder, the junior has something to report." The elder's gaze turned incredibly sharp, as if he wanted to skin Levi alive. "Levi, you keep making mistakes. I want to see how you explain this." He snorted coldly. Levi continued in an indifferent tone, reporting that the 2 guards harbored malicious intentions, which is common knowledge. Cultivation of Gu masters cannot be disturbed, especially when attempting to advance to a higher realm. Any carelessness may not only lead to a failed advancement, but also damage the empty aperture. But they forcibly broke in at the critical moment when I was attempting to advance to the intermediate level. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to step into the intermediate level at the moment they intruded. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. However, these 2 individuals not only refused to admit their recent mistakes, but also shamelessly threatened me with physical violence. They not only insulted my clan ancestors, but also falsely claimed that this disturbance to the cultivation of the younger generation was at your behest, Elder. I don't believe it. I resisted fiercely. But these 2 individuals were skilled in martial arts. It was only after fighting bloodily that I managed to defeat them. However, considering that they are Academy guards, I did not kill them. So they were just seriously injured. That's how the whole thing unfolded. Please, Elder, help me uphold justice. Everyone present was stunned when they heard this. No way. Did he just whitewash such a big mistake with just a few words? Wait a minute. What did he just say? He leveled up to intermediate level.